Hello, friends, and I'm all hooked up with my earbud microphone. I a couple nights ago knocked out one of my front teeth. I'll be trying not to smile. I have kind of a other one that I kind of jam up there, but it just looks too hilarious. So my 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 wife suggested I just put a piece of white paper behind it, and nobody would notice it, which was I thought a very good idea as well. Just tape it up there. And it reminded me of this cartoon program that was available when I was a child, and it was called Dennis the Menace. And Dennis, um, well, was a menace, or seemed to be a menace, especially by Mr. Wilson, who was next door neighbor, who Dennis one time it was looking at Mr. Wilson's, false teeth and dropped them and broke one of the teeth off like this. And so Dennis came up with a creative solution. I really related to Dennis. Dennis would come up with creative solutions. So he took what was called a chiclet gum, which was a chiclet gum was, a little larger than a tooth. But he took the chiclet gum and jammed it back up into the space that he had created by breaking the dentures of Mr. Wilson. And maybe you can even watch it on YouTube. I don't know, but it was very funny and it made me think of this. Because, basically, people get to know us based on our energetic state. They may have maybe known us before in some other fashion, like maybe they went to high school with us. They maybe remember us out of that relationship and they hold us to that relationship. But like on a YouTube channel, you people, you, oh, this is, yeah, anyway, on my side, it's going kind of funny, but I'm kind of funny. So on my YouTube channel, people get me pretty much as I am. Um, yeah, it's doing funny things, but that's okay because the world's doing funny things these days, and we're so lucky, from my perspective, that I can actually be sitting in a room on my computer and teleport my message to something called YouTube, a giant computer in the computerverse, and it uploads slowly because of my internet system. I didn't go with the expensive fast speed, which I might later once they decide not to charge you thousands of dollars just to run a cable, which they're doing now. But anyway, that all being said, I don't really know if I need more than I have. So if I just don't talk too much, then the video doesn't take over an hour to upload. But all my videos from now on are going to be healing videos. So in other words, I'm going to set up a healing field, and then we're going to go back to an event. Then you can stay on the video if you want, listen to whatever I have to say about the Mayan calendar or your tarot card for the day or whatever else. But meanwhile, we'll be doing healing work, and you can just hit the pause button once we set up the field and you connect to that event. You can hit the pause button, just come back to it later, because normally at the very end, I complete the process of the healing field. It will be completed for you anyway, because a lot of the souls that go back to it aren't watching me on YouTube. They're just getting the cosmic message that there's an event, if they want to go clear it, that they can go out and clear because there's someone holding a field open to clear that event. So they're just rushing back there as souls, and they combine and go back into the body in present time. whether they're watching my video or not. So you don't actually have to finish it. It's a lot of words, but they actually all have significance. I've written 3 posts today that are really good, and I was writing posts so people can't tell that I'm missing my front tooth if they're reading my post. Hopefully, unless they're really in sync. Okay, so let's set up the field. So you might state these things out loud. I connect to the world healing field that we're working with right now. I connect with my deep self. I connect with my higher self. I connect with my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. I let go of anything no longer useful to me now. And I choose to work with the Hathors. If you choose to do that, then you state that out loud and they help you on a vibrational or a sound level. They haven't made sounds for a little while, but that's fine. They do when it's useful. And I haven't heard from Arlen, my guide, that I'm conscious of. I mean, I may not understand that basically in the dream world, that's who I'm listening to. Okay, so what we have today is today, January 1st, in the Pope Gregory calendar. The first day in the Mayan calendar is July 26th. But the first day in the Mayan calendar is January 1st. And then I have a friend who is Jewish, and their calendar is another calendar. So it's different. So what's the first day of that year is depending on that calendar, which I think is more in line with this 13 moon. I'm not certain, but I think it's more in line with this 13 moon. Pope Gregory is just making stuff up or having people making stuff up. And I think all of that was just to keep people confused so they'd remain Catholics. I was once considered one of them, but that didn't last. I mean, it didn't last long at all. From my own consciousness, I think I kept them perceiving that I was one of them for as long as I could, because it was altruistic, but I was making money off being an altar boy. So you made some good money. It beat the heck out of working at McDonald's for like $1.75 an hour, or whatever it was back then, $1.35, whatever. I could go in and, quote, as an altar boy, perform in a funeral or perform in a marriage or baptism, or could just pass out calendars at the church, and I'd get money, like hard cash. Like they pay me a 10. I mean, it was maybe at the most like a wedding might at the most be 2 hours, but usually an hour. And all you had to do is kneel there and not have your shoes worn out. You'd wear this little priestly outfit, this little cassock that had like a black bottom and white. You were just a mini priest. And your mother's hope in Catholicism that you would end up being a priest, because according to Catholicism, if your son was a priest, you got into heaven no matter what. You could be the sinningest person on the planet, mortal sin after mortal sin. They had mortal sins, venial sins. They had purgatory, the in-between world. You went either straight to hell or you went to purgatory to give you another chance. There's all sorts of stuff made up about it that I found very interesting as a very bright, not a good student, that's different, but as a very bright, intuitive, other world seeing, guide listening to kid that I was getting my instructions from up there. And I was trying to instruct people down here. And I realized, yeah, it just got you beat up. So I quit doing it. I quit telling them, my version of reality based on the fact that I listen to voices in my head. And so that's a pretty interesting, I mean, they have like a diagnostic code for that. I never got any particular formal education per se in psychology. So I never got a master's or a doctorate or anything in psychology. I just studied it and went to therapists and learned what they did, and then did past life regressions with people, and then studied neurolinguistic programming for 7 years, and I got a number of certificates for that, which meant that I could do neurolinguistic programming because I was certified or certifiable. But today is tone 9. It's the solar tone. We've already gone way long, but that's okay. The 3 words related to the solar, the 13 lunar tones. And one of them is the solar tone, tone 9. So it's about pulsing, realizing, and intentions. So from the perception of the multisensory human, the intention behind an action determines its effects. Every intention affects both us and others, and the effects of intentions extend beyond the physical world. Tone 9 pulses the power of intention. Here we awaken to the realization of universal mind, the one. I refer to the one, universal mind. And it's not like one person, like some person that you might name God or Allah, or that. In a broader scope, you could expand it to mean the one consciousness, but it doesn't fit into religion, so you may as well just separate the two of them. And if you want to, you can just disconnect from the thought form of God. Just state out loud, I disconnect from the thought form of God. Notice as things expand for you, and all of a sudden you feel aware of something much larger. And if so, you are possibly becoming aware of the one consciousness. It can also just be called the one. If you want to make up some kind of like little religious group, you get together with a few friends and you could call it the Supreme One. But you could call yourself the Supreme One if you wanted to, because it's all one thing. And we're all part of that one thing. And we just have lived on a traumatized planet and been traumatized. And some of us accepted religion, and some of us saw it as a lot of hooey, but accepted that others, it was working well for them. So we didn't want to just be too much of a know-it-all, because what do we really know? We know so little. We know our experience. And even the way we know our experience can be based on unresolved traumas. So we don't even know our own experiences because we are traumatized and we are having experience based on our trauma. So until that's all resolved, all your real perceptions of the world, until all that trauma is gone, is basically out of trauma and out of sense of separation. So we don't need to stay in that state of separation. We can release and integrate the energies of the trauma, have them become integrated experiences, and be more present every moment, which seems like a good idea. Okay, so pulsing intentions and awakening to the realization of universal mind, which precedes and directs all manifestations of our physical world. And we see the nonlinear emanations of consciousness which uphold this reality, whatever that means. We see the nonlinear emanations of consciousness which uphold this reality. Okay, they just keep it present. And we understand that information is perpetually sent out and received by our psychic circuitry every moment. Information is coming in, going out. Whether we are aware of the experience or not. As the ancients say, whatever you put your attention on grows stronger in your life. So solar tone challenges: harness energy information by directing it. Pulsing is a way to amplify or communicate using mental, emotional, and spiritual energy united. Exercise your natural ability to be in telepathic contact. It requires clarity, connection, and like our body's pulse, a steady, streaming surge of energy. Realize your vast capacity to broadcast your truths, both subtly and physically. Now, what I realized is this is going to be a fairly convoluted video. So, we connect to the field. We got as far as choosing to work with the hot doors, and then I just kind of went off track. So we're coming back to choosing to connect with the hot doors, and we ask, and then asking to be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. We ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time. We invite all souls to return to that event, to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves, and we ask that they be placed in a field of protection while they do their work. And upon arrival at the event, we ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. So, once you're on a soul level back there, you can just go about, watching the football game, if there's one on today, or doing whatever it is you need to do. Just observing the changes you notice. There might be physical changes, there might be mental changes, there might be emotional changes, there might be spiritual changes. Feel free to make comments on things that you notice, because it's always interesting for others. Like if, somebody feels like waves of energy moving through them, and then somebody else writes, I felt waves of energy moving through me. Then you go, oh, I felt that too. And you realize you are having an experience with someone else that you possibly don't even know. But you're having this experience because we're setting intentions, the solar tone. We're setting intentions to go back to an event that needs our presence to release and integrate the event for our soul. So we're back there doing that right now. So if you are done listening, and then you hit the pause button, you can come back later if you want to come back for the closure of the field, the completion of the field. But it'll happen whether you come back or not. I'm pretty sure. So what we're going to do. So yesterday was a Red Earth Day, and today, 1st of January of 2025, based on Pope Gregory's calendar, today is a white mirror day. And white relates to the north. It refines. There's a relationship to the solar plexus. And it's about reflecting. The mirror reflects. And the white mirror reflects endlessness and order. And then there's a quote by Ane Nin. We don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. And I think that's completely true. And then it says in here, as human beings, we hold many perceptions about ourselves, others, and the world around us. While it appears these viewpoints are founded on evidence, trust the science, so to speak, kind of stuff, and experience, all perceptions are actually reflecting the climate and contents of our own psyche. I totally agree with that. As Jungian scholar Paul Levy shares, the universe is a divine inkblot. We are the source of meaning of this inkblot. So the universe is an inkblot, and we are the source of meaning of the universe in our consciousness. These are good words too. The universe is very malleable. And the way that we interpret the universe has a creative potency on how the universe manifests for us. In recognition that all perspectives are relative to the orientation of the viewer, White Mirror allows all points of view their validity, even in the face of seeming oppositions or contradicting beliefs. Mirror understands all opinions to be subjectively true. Knowing within this holographic universe there are no fixed absolutes, it's like the first time I ever read this, but it's not the first time. In essence, if it is this endless diversity, all reflections, which composes the mysterious order of the whole, the many facets of the one. White Mirror invites us delve into the source of reflection and polish the mirror of our mind that we may see from the deepest clarity we are capable of. In this way, all occurrences in our lives can be used to see ourselves more clearly. I like that. As an ongoing meditation of self-reflection, ultimately, as we walk through the reflections, we can enter into the greater reality, the truth beyond the hall of mirrors. Let's say that again. Ultimately, as we walk through the reflections, we can enter into the greater reality, the truth beyond the hall of mirrors, into the divine order, which pervades all. Sounds pretty good. And then Rumi said this: we are the mirror as well as the face in it. We are tasting the taste this minute of eternity. We are pain and what cures pain. We are the sweet cold water and the jar that pours. That's from Rumi. And this is our this is our Healing Field Mayan calendar reading for today, January 1st of the year 2025, the year when the 28-year cleansing process completes on March 24th of 2025. And I'm looking forward to it. And now must go.